Hi, it's Tom here from FDS, and if you have some of these, you're going to end up with some of these. And I'm going to show you today how to make a zombie horde that you can use for a zombie shoot whilst we're all stuck in isolation. So, the first thing you are going to need is a few bits and pieces. You won't need a full toilet roll, they're far too precious. You'll need some empty toilet roll. You can also use the centres from other rolls of stuff, anything cardboard if you want. You could use boxes. I'm going to use these to make boss zombies because they're big. Then you'll need scissors. You'll need some scraps of paper, you'll need a paintbrush, you'll want some PVA glue. You can use any wood glue, anything you can scrounge at your dad's shed, but generally a PVA is best. And then just some waste card. This is the leftover card that we used from last time, and I've already marked this up for the next stage. So those are pretty much all the things you're going to need. You'll also need some paint, and if you can't get like a craft type paint, what I've done is, in here, if I just show you, this is some house paint, and this was just white house paint, and what I did was you could add a little bit of green food colouring to that if you had it, or green paint. You can see the green paint stuck on there. I just used a little bit of our green craft paint and then put some PVA in there. So for every kind of quarter of a jar of paint, just a good splurge of PVA, and that will stick to everything. And we're going to need this to paint our zombies, and I've gone with like a green look. You can have grey zombies too, or if you're making a horde of Donald Trump zombies, you can have orange zombies. So you can paint your zombies any colour you like, but this is the base colour, and I mix that again from house paint and PVA glue, because not everyone has craft paint, but most people have things. You can also use tester pots. There are lots of these mint green colours and beige colours and slightly orange colours if you get tester pots. You can order those online if you can't get into anywhere that sells them. First thing you're going to do is you're going to mark up the parts that you need. So these you're going to need, and you're going to need to cut 2 slots into each toilet roll, and you're going to go about just above halfway down. And these slots are going to be for your arms. So I've cut 2 slots. And if you've got a hot glue gun, you might use that too in this job. Just 2 slots, one either side, at the top of each one of your tubes. So I've gone a little bit further down on the boss zombie. The next thing you're going to need to do is to mark up the bases if you want to use them. And the idea is these sit on them, and it just makes them a bit more stable. And I'll just show you, if you sit those onto the base. This is a 5 by 4 centimetre square, and I've just given myself a little bit of overlap. You don't have to use bases if you don't want. You could stick a penny in the bottom to give them a little bit of extra weight, but I'm going to be using these on all sorts of wobbly surfaces, so I'm going to put a base on. So 5 by 4 centimetre squares, and then we need to do some arms. And what I've done is I took some more scrap card and I marked this up. Now the idea about the arms, what I've done is I've drawn a whole load of arms on here using just a ruler. Any straight edge will do, and you can make them big or as little as you want. You can have like big long Mr. Tickle arms, and you can make them short if you want. You can have T-Rex zombies. You can make them how you like. You don't even have to have them as squares, but what I've done is each of those squares will slot down inside the tube like that, and that will be a pair of arms at the top. So these are 14 centimetres across and 2 centimetres down. You don't have to be as neat as this, but I'm trying to save my resources. So if you then got your scissors and you cut out your first strip, now you can draw the arms on here, or you can cut the fingers if you want. It doesn't matter which way you do them. You don't have to do them all different, and you can make them, each one can be completely individual. So if you want to, you can draw some little hands on there. So you need a pen just to draw a little hand. So if I'm going to draw like a zombie claw, so I'll have a thumb sticking out like that, and then I'll just have a couple of crude fingers like that, and there we go. So a really crude zombie hand. So I'll just cut that out. So there's a quick finger, and then those slot down in here like that into the slot like that. So there's your zombie hands lurching forwards. Now you can add, if you want, a little bit of glue to hold those in, but that is pretty safe already. That's staying put. And you can always put a bit of tape around the top as well, and I'll show you that in a minute. So that's the first stage. So you need to go and make up a whole load of those with the arms attached. You don't need to bend the arms into position, but you do need, if you want to cut any fingers, you need to cut fingers. Okay. What we've done is that we've painted the top half in the sickly green now to be like the zombie's skin and stuff, and then we've got up here which is going to become the zombie's face. Now you're going to want a marker pen of some kind, or just a pencil. You can use whatever you want to draw the faces on. So I'm going to draw a face on, and I'm also going to show you what to do with the bottom half. I can try drawing a face on my zombie. So you can do that to all your zombies. You can draw your faces on them however you want. The other things that you can do is that you can paint some stuff onto them as well. So I've got a little bit of just basic craft paint here. It's just whatever you can find lying around. If you've got it, you've got it. If you ain't, you ain't. You can really go to town if you want. I'm just going to make like a kind of t-shirt setup on this one. So there's the front of my zombie, and now I'm ready to hot glue the skirt on because I've already done it. So be careful not to burn yourself when you do this. I do it all the time because I'm not very good at this sort of thing. Quick screw the hot glue. So there you go, there's the completed and glued down zombie skirt. And that was just made using a bit of whatever was lying around. That was just a little piece of scrap. So that was one done. And then we'll come and do the hair on that zombie in a minute. I'll show you how to do the zombie hair on the top of this one. And then obviously you could do things like, you can do jeans with a bit of blue. So, you know, you can get pretty creative with how you paint these. So the other thing we can do before we finish the hairs, we can stick them onto the base. And for that I'm just going to use a bit of hot glue because I've already got the hot glue gun out. You could use sellotape to tape them onto the base, whatever you want. You could even you could stick a penny in there too in the bottom. But I'm just going to stick this one onto my base so that it's all there, like that. So that'll just help it stay stable, so it won't get knocked over so easily, which we did with the other targets when we made the target range for competition type stuff. And that just will mean it's got a little bit more to hold it together. And also it added some free crinkling to the clothes. Right, I'm going to show you how to do the hair. I've just got some yellow wool here because it was just what I had lying around. And then you can just cut lengths of that. You can use anything. You could use strips of newspaper for this, whatever you like. And I'm just putting it onto these, I'm onto these bits of... I'm just putting a few bits here onto the length of tape. Can you see it's just a piece of tape there stuck to the table. If I was more organised I would have stuck that down better. So you just go along, cut a load of those out, stick them on. Doesn't matter particularly how they look, you can do them how you like. So there's the hair that just cut out into a simple strip. Like that. So there's my slightly freaky Disney princess zombie. So yeah, you can have all kinds of random things on your zombie, and the other things you can use to make hair, if you're old and grey like me, you can also use a bit of just leftover cotton pads, and if you've got things, you can just glue the cotton pad, or you can again use a little bit of tape to secure it. You can make quiffs with the cotton pads, and you can also put them on top like that. So you can stick the cotton pad completely in the top and expand it out. Hang on, I'll just try and do a better job on that. So yeah, you could use a little bit of glue to hold that in. I'm just going to put a bit of tape down there just to hold it all in place. It doesn't have to be particularly scientific. We're doing a fairly quick job. So there you go. So now that one's just waiting for some drawing on, and as you can see my daughter's been helping me out and doing some other bits of painting. So you can finish them all however you like, and basically the aim of the game is to end up with a whole army of these, all looking different. So as many as you can make, and then I will show you then how to make a game out of these, and we've got quite a fun idea for how that's going to work. So there you go, another quick boredom busting idea. You can make yourself a zombie horde.